everyone, this is Maureen Amari, founder of Amari Baking Center and author of How to Start Up a Small Baking Business. In this channel, we share baking, tutorials, cake decoration, and baking for business advice. If this is something you're interested in, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. So in this video, I'll be showing you guys how to make a brownie. And when you're making a brownie, there's a few tips I want to share with you guys, as well as share the ingredients of what you need to make a brownie. So now, if you've ever eaten a brownie, you know there's two types of brownies. There's the authentic brownie, which is just very moist, very dense, and chewy. So that's what I'll be showing you how to make today. But I'll also share some tips if you actually want to make like a cakey, more fluffy brownie. So in this recipe, I'll be sharing a recipe using real chocolate. However, you can actually use compound chocolate. Just please note that there is a difference between the two. If you haven't watched the video, please make sure to watch it. There's a difference between the two, especially when it comes to taste and quality. So obviously the real chocolate is going to taste much better, but I do know that the real chocolate is a bit more expensive. Also, the other difference is when it comes to the types of brownies, the really fudgy, dense one, and then the really cakey one. One is using milk in your recipe. If you want it really nice and thick and dense, you can opt to either use a little bit of milk or no milk at all. Also, you'll just be using just the all-purpose flour by itself. When you opt to do a cakey kind of brownie, you'll tend to use either maybe self-rising flour, or you can add a little bit of baking powder in your recipe when you're mixing your brownie. My other note on this recipe is that in this recipe, I will be using butter, unsalted butter. Please use unsalted. You'd rather add a pinch of salt to your recipe than using salted butter. The other thing is that you can actually substitute the unsalted butter for margarine. If you do, again, the taste is going to be slightly different. Real butter is going to give you a better result. So make sure you use real butter. If you use margarine, don't add salt into your recipe. Remember that margarine does have a little bit of salt in there. So realize that when you're making a brownie, the type of ingredients you use are the difference. Now, the mixing method in this is going to be a melting method, which means you're going to just melt your chocolate and your butter together. Then you're going to add your sugar. Then you're going to put your eggs and your milk and then your dry ingredients. Okay, so that's going to be the process. So I'll show you how to do that in a bit. So guys, a quick explanation of our ingredients. I just want to share that we'll be using, I've already measured the all-purpose flour right here. I have 20 grams of alkalized cocoa powder. Using alkalized is going to be your best option because of the deeper color. However, you can use natural cocoa powder, which you can buy from supermarkets. Alkalized you can get from cake supply shops like Top Serve Limited. Using sugar, you can just use regular sugar. Like right here, I'm using regular table sugar. This is 85 grams. And you can actually use caster sugar just for a smoother look, but I find that there's no difference. Now guys, just a note, if you want chewy brownies, you can actually use brown sugar. It's a little sticky, but use a little less, like 70 grams. This is all-purpose flour, like I mentioned. If you want it cakey, remember you can add like either a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder or use self-rising. Now, I told you that you can use compound chocolate like this, but in this particular case, guys, I personally have used real chocolate, like this kind of chocolate right here. I'm using this real chocolate. You can actually buy these from Puratos, that's a company in Kenya, or you can just look for the closest real chocolate company that you can get for you guys. And just to share, because I already measured it out, this is it, guys. It's dark chocolate, Belgian chocolate, and this is 200 grams. And as you can see, really nice and dark, and I've cut it into little pieces. You can double boil this or microwave this just for easy melting, okay? Now after that, I have my butter. I told you guys I'm going to be using butter, but you can use margarine if you opt to. For the butter, it's already melting in here. So I have my butter, unsalted butter in here, and I'm going to melt it in here and actually pour the chocolate in here, guys. But what I will do, I will melt up my chocolate a little bit, and then I'm gonna throw it in here together so that it's a little bit faster. So you can actually throw both of them in a microwave or just do a double boiler. Now, a double boiler means I've put some hot water in here, guys, and then I've put a bigger bowl on top. You want to do that so that you don't burn your chocolate, so that both the chocolate and the butter melt together very easily. So I'm gonna get mixing right now. Alright guys, so I've melted my butter and now I'm just kind of putting it in my chocolate as well. I've melted it. I want to explain that really you do want to just kind of melt the two together with the double boiler, but because I like moving fast, that's why I'm actually pouring my melted chocolate in here. And then what I'm going to do is just mix it really quickly and make sure they've just come together really nicely. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Alright guys, so when it's at this point, I do switch up to a spatula. So what I'll do, I'll put in the all-purpose flour and I'll start mixing it, and then after that I'm gonna actually finish off with the rubber spatula so it just kind of gets everything. So you can start with this and then move to your rubber spatula. Alright, so for brownie guys, for this recipe I'm using like a 7x7 square pan, and you really want to use a square pan with some parchment guys because it will stick. So you can cut little pieces, or maybe you can just do it the way I've done where I've cut the edges over here. And so what I'm going to try and do is just fit it inside, and then I'm going to pour in my batter. Move fast because your batter will set. Alright guys, so when you pour it into your pan with the parchment paper, you want to bake it at 180 degrees. Now, every oven is different, but I tell you to start with 35 minutes to about 40 minutes. But realize, depending on your oven, it might take 25 minutes. So start checking at 25 minutes. Alright, so I've removed our brownies and been baking for about like 35 to 40 minutes, guys. You really want this crust that you're seeing on here, just kind of, you know, shows you a nice brownie. You want a nice little crust going there. Now, it might seem a little soft when it comes out of the oven. And remember, this is a fudgy brownie, so they have not done a lot of rising. But when it's out, like this one has been out for like 5 minutes, it's warm, but at least it's a bit firm. So I'm gonna remove it from the pan and actually just place it. So sometimes since it's deep in there, I just tend to just find a board and parchment paper. I place it on top. And then I flip it, and then quickly, guys, I bring it back like that. Alright guys, so to be honest, you really want to wait till your brownie has cooled completely. So what I do is actually I just kind of unravel like sort of the paper, and then I'm gonna leave it like this for about 4 hours, guys. Brownies, trust me, are best eaten when they're cold and have been cooling for 4 hours, guys. Don't eat them before. And I'm gonna show you a small piece of a brownie that has actually stayed overnight. They taste better and they look better, but basically this is your brownie. Alright guys, so these an example of brownies that have stayed overnight. As you can see, they're really nice and dense, very fudgy. These have just a little bit of milk and they have no baking powder or self-rising flour. As you can see, these are amazing guys, and even when you take a bite, really amazing guys. You just gotta try this out. So here are brownies. Good luck making yours. So I hope you really do get to try out this recipe. If you do, make sure to tag us on social media. We're on Instagram, we're on Facebook. Just search Amari Baking Center. And if you do tag us on results, it will be really, really excited. Enjoy your brownie.